All right, what's going on, guys? It's Luke here. We're going to run through the market really quick today. Today was a bank holiday, February 16th, but I usually do this in the Discord at the end of every single day. I break down the market and I kind of just go over the setups that you guys could have taken and whatever, but I figured I would just drop this on YouTube because I know bank holidays are very controversial. A lot of people just avoid them, and then a lot of people promote to trade them. And this will just go to show you guys the importance of how you need to have data and you need to, kind of collect that information for yourself. Just because somebody on TikTok or somebody on YouTube or whatever told you not to trade bank holidays doesn't mean that you have to avoid them. If you've gone through and you've forward tested and you've back tested bank holidays and you know that your system works, then there's no problem trading a bank holiday. Although if you do, I would recommend probably de-risking, or even just trading eval, just something like that. But if you're going to trade your fundeds, you're going to trade your live accounts, I would personally de-risk on these days just to be safe. But you can definitely still trade on these days. I've caught in plenty of great trades on bank holidays, and yeah, it's all going to come down to how your system performs. So you're going to have to collect that data. But what I wanted to get out of the way first was that you guys need to just kind of figure that out for yourself. Does your system work on these holidays? And yeah, just go for it. Once you determine that, then there's no problem trading these days. So don't just listen to what other people are telling you to do. Just because they don't like trading the bank holidays and their stuff doesn't work doesn't mean that your trades aren't going to pop up on those days. So I'm going to run through. There was like pretty two quality setups that you guys could have caught in today, and I kind of just wanted to run through them really quick because I actually thought they were good setups. I made a quick video on TikTok on the one and shorts, but I'm going to run through it again. So I have everything marked out ready. So started the session and going into market open, price came down, was sweeping out London, swept these hourly lows, swept these lows, and then it came down and it swept out these PM lows from Friday. And on the way down here, unless you were trading like pre-market, there really wasn't anything here. Like market opened up. Where did market open up? Let me just see. 29, 30. Market opened up right here. We get this strong candle to the downside. Maybe you took this retracement candle right here. But again, you're getting pretty close to the draw. You would have to have a really tight stop loss right there because the PM low was literally right there. So that's not really like a trade that I would take. But anyway, from there, price comes down and it ends up sweeping out that Friday New York PM low. Okay, so now this is where you guys could have started to shift and kind of see that there's a potential reversal here. So as you can see, NQ sweeps out this PM low. ES never sweeps out that PM low, so we have a potential SMT forming, and it's not going to be an SMT until we show that we want to continue the other way, right? So from here, you could have looked for potential. This is where if you guys didn't see the last video I made, I talked about conditions. If you don't just see an SMT kind of forming and you're like, whoa, we're going to reverse now. No, you have to set conditions for yourself. So this is a good example of that right here, right? So let's say this is what we're looking at. We have to say this. If price comes down and it continues to show rejection and displaces again, then I will look for shorts to the next draw on liquidity, which is going to be this low over here. And then we had previous day low down there. So that's your condition right there. If we continue to displace lower, we get a retrace and show that we want to like reject and continue lower, then I'll look for shorts. But if we get a strong shift in order flow, like maybe we inverse this 3 minute because there was a 3 minute gap there really wasn't anything on the 5 minute, then you can potentially look for longs depending on the close. And as you can see right here, NQ put in a strong bullish close on the 3 minute, which inverses this 3 minute gap. So in theory, if price was going to continue down, it should probably want to start displacing down now. But since it doesn't do that, you can assume that potentially we want to come up and rebalance this leg. Now, what do we see on this leg? We have a 5 minute unfilled gap. And keep in mind, there was also a 15 minute gap up here as well. So a 5 minute and a 15 minute gap, whatever. So after this candle inverses, you can pretty much tell it's a pretty aggressive retrace. So it's highly unlikely that price is going to continue down from here. Order flow is shifted from bearish to bullish. We got an inversion. Then what you can do is look at ES. So as you can see on ES also inverses this 3 minute gap. So that's an even better sign. And if you look at ES here, ES also, it did have this 5 minute that it was trading into, but you could have seen that it still has this 5 minute and that 15 minute above, which it's probably going to want to come up to and rebalance. So again, you set the condition for yourself. If price comes down and it continues to show that it wants to go lower and rejects, then we'll look for the next draw. But if it clearly shows that it wants to shift from bearish to bullish, then we'll look for long. So you could have taken the entry here off of this 3 minute close. ES inverse the 3 minute. We have an SMT forming. You could have gone break even at these internal highs right here. You could have TP'd here. You could have TP'd at the start of the gap. Whatever. If you TP'd at the start of the gap, which is what I would have probably did personally, you would have cut about 53 points just at the start of the gap, and it would have been, depending on where you put your stop loss, you would have had about a 1.84 hour trade, which is pretty solid. So once again, price dumps down. We put it in an SMT off of that Friday PM low. You could have looked for, again, displacement continuation, and if you got a continuation lower, you could have targeted down to the next draw, which was down here. But if we show a clear sign that we want to reverse, which would be from the like a strong displacement candle or an inversion, then we could look for longs. We get this 3-minute inversion, which is like the highest time frame. You go break even at the internal highs, and then you target up to that unfilled gap, because again, price is going to move from external to internal liquidity, which means it's going to sweep liquidity and then rebalance into a fair value gap, which in this case was this 5-minute and this 15-minute gap up here. So that could have been the long setup you guys could have taken, right? Now let me hide this really quick, and then we're going to go over potentially the continuation short that you could have taken. So now you see, okay, price is now reacting and rejecting off of a 15-minute, 5-minute bearish for value gap. So if price is going to continue to respect this, what can we do? We can expect price to come down, potentially down to this low and potentially down to this low, okay? So if price, in theory, is going to continue higher, what should it do? It should go up, show bullish displacement, continue up, and go from there. So that would be my long condition. If price wants to continue higher, if we get displacement up and a retrace, then I will look to long up to here. But if it continues to respect this 5-minute, 15-minute bearish for value gap, then I want to be looking for shorts down to here. Now, there was a couple different entries I think you guys could have taken on this. One was this 5-minute inversion right here. So you could have taken this 5-minute inversion, stops here. You could have tried to go break even after we filled this 5-minute, but it would have been really quick. So I would have personally just probably held, and then you could have just TP'd. You could have TP'd just for a 1-to-1 quick. You could have TP'd down to this low, or you could have held to that next draw on liquidity, which I believe was a 15-minute low, but that's really totally up to you. You could have taken an entry like that. If you didn't want to wait on the 5-minute, because usually I don't even enter off the 5 minutes. I usually try to get in earlier. You probably could have taken an entry. Let's see here. Maybe you could have entered off this close right here, this strong displacing close. I think, let me see. Maybe that 5-minute would have been the best entry. Let me see the 4-minute. There's really nothing too much here. You could have taken maybe this 1-minute candle right here, this displacement candle, or after we reject right here, maybe you could have taken this off the retrace. And then you could have targeted same kind of idea. You could have gone break even at these lows right here, and then you could have targeted all the way down to these. You could have hit a huge risk reward trade. You could have seen that shift in order flow, rejection off of, oh, that wasn't even a 1-minute gap. But anyways, something in here you could have taken off that 15-minute gap. Personally, I think the best one here would have been this 5-minute inversion. You take this 5-minute inversion right here. You run your stop above the 5-minute candle, because if price comes up to there, it's probably going to flip bullish. So you could have gone break even quick somewhere in this 5-minute gap, and you could have targeted down to this low or this low down there. But in my opinion, that long to the upside seemed to be a really great trade. I know a lot of probably people who take the MEC take that or took that trade. But yeah, just to show you guys, there were setups today. You could have taken this 3-minute inversion long up to that unfilled gap, or the shorts down off of that 15-minute, 5-minute bearish gap back down to the next draw on liquidity, which was these lows over here, and then this draw down here at 681. So that's it for this one, guys. Just wanted to make a quick video just saying, you guys, if you guys put in the work and back test through, if you back test through your bank holidays, then you'll be able to build more confidence, and you won't really just rely on what other people are saying for you to do, for you to just avoid these days. But if you know your system works, there's no issue taking these trades. So that's it for me, guys. We'll be back to normal tomorrow. So back trading normal, and should be a solid rest of the week. We got 4 days left. So yeah, super happy, excited for this week coming up. And that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.